Hey, how y'all doing? I'm in one of my rental cars, the last one I added a couple of weeks ago, and I was just thinking to myself, was it a wise decision to get a vehicle that has all light colored interior? That's gonna be a headache. But I got a really good deal on it, so it was worth it. All right, so let's dive into something. One-day rentals. Should you or should you not is a big debate, for tour hosts. Some people don't touch one-way rentals, and it's justified. And some people do, like me, and I have my reasons why. But here's some of the reasons why I choose to do one-day rental, especially in a month like January. January has been extremely slow. And not only that, because of my location, I have developed a customer base of professionals that get my vehicle one day at a time, but they do it regularly. And sometimes, which is another benefit, one day turned into two. I've had one day turn into 3, 4, 5 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So one day rental can turn out to be a long-term rental. But I have about 4 regular customers that use my vehicle for work. One guy's a IT professional. He has a Maserati. He'd rather drive my car to see his clients sometime when he's going a long distance. I have a couple of more customers that go back and forth from Florida all the time. So, I have to keep the maintenance up to point, because they're going to put about 1,000 miles on it when they get it. But so it's been beneficial to me. It's been keeping me going during the slow periods. This month been slow. I've had a ton of one-day rental. Somebody was asking me, how did you get over 60 trips in 5 months? One-day rentals. And a lot of time, and I've had a whole bunch of long-term rentals too. But that's how one-day rentals are beneficial to me. Now, that's the pros. The cons is people can rent your vehicle for your parts. They'll rent your vehicle to steal your tires. And like Toyota and Honda, those parts are valuable. They'll take your part, take your original part off and put on a cheaper brand part and take it and flip it and make money. So that's another reason you want to peep at your GPS every now and then too. Like, especially with one-day rental, I'll take a peep, especially when it's a few hours before time for them to bring it back. So parts is one. 2 is, do not do a one-day rental if you stay anywhere near a border, particularly Mexico, because your vehicle is going to be used for smuggling, trafficking, and sometimes they will outright steal it. It is crazy, some of the stuff I see, because I'm in a Toro group on Facebook, and we share concerns, issues, progression, winnings. We get on there and share everything. And I see some horror story of people that's Toro hosts that stay in like Texas, Houston, anywhere near border, Arizona. People will rent your vehicle and you will never see it again. So take a look at this. First, I'm finna go through something. I'm finna dive into some settings also. Your settings as a host is, it's like life or death. Is gonna determine how many rentals you get. Your availability, so I'm gonna show you a little of that. And then I'm gonna show you some of the horror stories of vehicles being taken to Mexico, stolen, trafficking, human smuggling, whatever you can think of. Last thing before I dive into those items. 2 things that you must do on a one-day rental is your pictures has to be immaculate. Like close-up picture of the tire treads, the rims. I pop the hood. I get a picture of the engine. I make sure to check it when they come back. You want to get really, really good pictures. The second thing is, whatever you do, do not have your settings on unlimited mileage. Because if you watch my first video, I have a horror story about unlimited mileage. I kept mine off. Some people do 200 a day. Some people do 250 a day. And sometimes my customer go over, and sometimes they don't. They go over, you know, I charge them, I think it's like 16 cents, 0.16 a mile. So it's another way to earn income on those little short one-day rentals, because some people know they're gonna go over, but you know, after doing the math with the price that is at for one day, they figure it's still cheaper even if they go over on the miles a little bit. All right, so now let's dive into those. All right, so let's take a look at the settings, and let's dive into what I was talking about: pickup time and hours. So this is your availability. When I first started off, I had that button at the top, click, which always available, and you will get booked 2, 3 in the morning, people coming in for the airport and whatnot. So that button there is a no-no. I do from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. and I think that's a pretty good range to have my settings at. But you put this however you need to accommodate your lifestyle. All right, so I want to share a few of those horror stories from my Facebook group for Toro hosts. This customer here has a 2022 Bronco, and they're located in Houston, Texas. Shortly after the customer rented the vehicle, they said that they were robbed and the vehicle was taken. Guess what? Ended up in Mexico. Being that it was in Mexico, the authorities can do nothing about it. Have to take it up with Toro, and that's the case. Okay, so this host here is located in Phoenix, Arizona, near the Mexico border. They had well, let me start from the beginning. She changed her settings for a family member, put it on unlimited mileage and allowed one-day rentals. But before the family member can get it, a customer got it. And she was kind of skeptical about this customer right from the beginning, but she vetted the customer, look at her profile, she had good reviews and whatnot, so she went on here and did the rental. But to make a long story short, the girl drove the vehicle all the way to Mexico. When the host checked the GPS, it was nowhere near the return location, so she knew she wasn't gonna bring it back. But she gave an extension to the customer. The customer requested extension at the last minute. But to make a long story short, she kept the vehicle way past the return time. And all of a sudden, a few hours later, the host got a call from a property owner in Mexico. The girl crashed the vehicle on this person's property, fleeing from the police. She was trafficking humans, trying to get them over the border, and she was arrested. So now this host got to get the vehicle fixed and get it back from Mexico, which is going to be a complete headache. The thing I've learned to do in life is follow my gut. Follow that voice inside of your head telling you when something wrong. This saved my life many times during my younger age, but I always play around with family members. I say, you said my spider senses off. Peter Parker a little concerned. All right, so this next one, the host is near the border also, and they woke up the next day and realized that their vehicle was in Mexico, and they was just being a little facetious, playing around and just saying, you know, Feliz Navidad, and hoping their vehicle will come back. And for this next one, this host vehicle was taken to Mexico. The tracker was disabled, so the host went to the secondary tracker and was able to track it down. So this vehicle was inside a garage in Mexico, most likely being taken apart, and the parts are going to be sold, but they can't enter the property, so they're trying to figure out their options as to how they're going to get the vehicle back. Keep in mind that they're in Mexico. That's a total different jurisdiction. All right, so on this one, the host just basically did a shaking my head emoji and stating that never again unlimited mileage, because they're near the border and the customer drove the vehicle into Mexico. And reminder, that driving the vehicle into Mexico is against Toro's terms of service. All right, so this host here is just basically concerned For one, their vehicle has been driven to Mexico. For two, it's due back in a few hours. So they're just basically asking the group, what are my options? Which are none at the moment. Okay, so not a lot of detail was given on this one, but this host said that their vehicle was stolen less than an hour ago and they reported stolen, and it is in Mexico per the tracker. What are their options? Okay, so this host had a customer rented Tahoe from him, and the tracker notified him that the Tahoe was in Mexico, and then that tracker was disabled. But he had a secondary tracker. And once the customer realized there was a secondary tracker, he disabled that one as well. But to make a long story short, they snatched his transmission out, and he had to find out a way to get his vehicle back from Mexico. So this host has a 2021 Ram 1500 that was stolen by a Toro guest. The guest never returned the vehicle. Tracked it to Mexico, and to make a long story short, he was able to find the vehicle, but it cost him $110 in gas to get down there, and he's trying to get Toro to reimburse him for the gas as well as the lost income from the vehicle. Keep in mind, when these vehicles are damaged or go missing and you get them back or whatever the case may be, it takes 30 days at a minimum for Toro to take care of you and to rectify the situation. This is a real crazy one. Toro called a Toro host late at night to inform the host that the person that had their vehicle is known to steal vehicles. How they able to have an account, I don't know. But the host sent a repo guy to try to get the vehicle. She was in Mexico, by the way. But the lady got away from the repo guy and drove it back in the States to Texas. So now the host got to get down to wherever it is to get the vehicle back. Appreciate y'all watching. I just want to say this. My whole reasoning for doing this channel is not to claim that I'm no type of guru or anything, but to show you my progression in this business. I watched probably over 100 videos before I started. And I want to show you stuff that no other channel is showing. My goal is to be a little bit more in-depth and to be as real as possible. No high false expectations. So basically just to give it to you real. And you are following my journey. From when I had one car to 2 cars. I think I made my channel when I had 2 cars. I scaled to 3 cars, scaled to 4 cars. Now, I'm not gonna scale anymore until I get some things figured out with my LLC and get set up properly. You know, I'm gonna be talking to a CPA soon. So I want to phase all these vehicles off and under my personal credit to under my LLC after some slight modifications. So you get to follow me on that journey as well. And I appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like button for me and subscribe. And for my fellow Toro hosts, if you see something, you can make a comment for something that'll help me out, or just shoot a comment, saying, hey, I'm watching, man, I appreciate it. And those are thinking about getting in the Toro business, I hope these videos help you. So subscribe and follow along with my journey, because it's going to be a crazy year. My goal is to scale 6 figures this year. Thanks.